Ancient Egyptian Symbols, 50 New Discoveries, the videos. This third video examines Seth in the Eye of Horus. In mythology, Seth kills his older brother Osiris twice, then later fights with Osiris' son Horus and blinds him. What do these horrific acts represent? The three primary ancient Egyptian funerary texts were researched for this video. They are extensive collections of prayers and spells found in ancient Egyptian tombs. Seth was ancient Egypt's desert god of confusion, chaos, sickness, storms, and death. Eminent Egyptologist Jan Osman notes, death, or the cause of death, was personified in the figure of Seth. The earliest known depictions of Seth are those carved into the Scorpion King's ceremonial mace head. 7 Seth animals stand on 7 standards. Their cut-off ears and arrow tails represent woundings. Hanging from each standard is a bird-like creature with human feet and a jackal's ear. Osiris symbolized fertile soil. Seth first kills him by drowning him, which symbolized the inundation, when the fields were underwater for 4 months. Then after the flood receded, Seth cut up Osiris, killing him a second time, which symbolized plowing. Seth's head was inspired by a plow. Birds' beaks resemble Seth's snout, and they hurt Osiris by eating seeds, the life in the soil. Plowing killed Osiris, but it also brought him back to life in a natural opening of the mouth ceremony. Plowing suggests intercourse. Anubis was ancient Egypt's god of mummification and one of Seth's personas. Here, Anubis holds an ankh filled with fresh air to revive the deceased. He then leads the resurrected man to the scales, where his heart will be weighed against a feather of justice. Anubis was Seth's most compassionate form. He helped the deceased to resurrect and successfully enter the afterlife. Here, he listens to an appeal. This Seth is depicted with his usual head, but with Anubis's ears. They appear to be merging. Seth stands in Ra's solar boat, wounding death serpent Apep. It's a task he must perform every night, because without the sun, or life, Seth would cease to exist. Anubis has a jackal's neck, while Seth's neck is unnatural. Death would have been an important character in stories told around a fire, and Seth's profile appears to have been inspired by a shadow cast on a wall of someone's arm and hand. Animals with cut-off ears represent Seth in one of his many deadly forms. This goddess holds a Waz scepter in one hand and an ankh in the other. The 2 Waz scepters on the comb form the arms of the anthropomorphic figure. It's an early example of a hidden figure in Egyptian art. A horizontal Waz scepter resembles a plow, with both appearing to be bowing to Osiris or Earth. It's a farmer's metaphor. Egypt thrived because of its farms, but it was backbreaking work. A Waz scepter symbolizes dominion, but also a plow at rest. It has Seth's head and tail and a serpent's body. These 2 Waz scepters support a glyph for the sky. Part of the pharaoh's hoe was eliminated to create the Waz scepter's head, with the resulting bend symbolizing Seth's broken neck. Leaving that piece in place would have made a stronger plow. Seth was intentionally weakened. His upright arrow tail is the glyph for support, which is why he once was said to support the sky. This peace-loving ankh separates 2 scowling Waz scepters. The Eye of Horus is the most important, yet least understood symbol from ancient Egypt. The design is called Eye of Horus, and the amulet is called both Wedget and Eye of Horus. If the wedget is rotated 90 degrees, it becomes Seth. It therefore has both an Eye of Horus position and a Seth position. Here are a few revealing quotes from the funerary texts. Seth is released from the Eye of Horus. That's Seth position. I am Horus, who went forth as Horus and Seth. Eye position. Seth, who made the eye of darkness, passed by. Seth position. I am Horus, who absorbed the chaos god. Seth. Eye position. I have given Horus his eye. Placed the Wetchet eye in the correct position. There are many examples. So the Eye of Horus has three positions: legless Seth, and Horus's right and left eyes. Is there a fourth position? Another symbol with a similar shape? One significant Eye of Horus feature is that in the Seth position, Seth is legless, so he can't give chase. Seth was known to be highly sexual. Notice that in the Seth position, one side of his outline resembles a penis and testicles. Egyptians scrutinized these symbols, searching for additional meaning. Three of these wedgets have Seth's mutilated ears. The rest have Anubis's pointed ears. None have legs. The wedget has well-defined ears in the Seth position, but a painted Eye of Horus doesn't have those ears, so its drop in curl is given a large ear. Seth is an essential part of the Eye of Horus. Eyes of Horus were sometimes painted on the left side of a coffin to allow the deceased to see out, and a golden Eye of Horus plaque occasionally covered the embalmer's incision in a mummy's left side. The Eye of Horus on Hathor's cow face was to remind people of her dark side, the fierce lioness Sekhmet. Hathor is an example of Egyptians' belief in dualism, that for a thing to be complete, it must include its polar opposite. The eyes of Horus on these throwing sticks would switch from life to death as they whirled through the air. The Eye of Horus's drop, under its eye, comes from the Lanner falcon, but its curl does not. Together, they resemble a Waz scepter in its bowing position. These are examples of the ancient Egyptian curls that resemble the Eye of Horus's curl, which was used as a metaphor for Seth in the funerary texts. Seth was associated with wine and drunkenness, hence the grapevine. Most ancient Egyptian amulets are symmetrical. The Eye of Horus's asymmetry symbolized Seth's presence in it. Sometimes Eyes of Horus were grouped or framed to make them appear more symmetrical. The Eye of Horus was used as a boat metaphor in the funerary texts, because a boat's outline can resemble an eye when viewed from above. Nor am I boatless, for I possess the Eye of Horus. Eye position. He, Seth, attacks me. So says Horus the boatless. Seth position. The Eye of Horus's curl represented Seth in a variety of funerary text metaphors. I pull out the finger of Seth from the Eye of Horus. Eye position. Seth, who snatches hearts, who casts the lasso, but who was not seen. Eye position. May the flame, Seth, of the Eye of Horus go forth against you. Eye position. The double crown, which preceded the Eye of Horus by 500 years, inspired it. When the double crown is right side up, Seth is upside down. It's the Wetchet's fourth position. The dread of you is the intact Eye of Horus, namely the white crown. I provide you with the Eye of Horus, the red crown rich in power. This top image depicts an honest weighing of the heart. No one is touching the balance bar, trays, or chains. In the lower picture, however, the feather side is being held down, so the man's terrified heart can't tip the scales against him. His eternal life hangs in the balance. In 3 of these pictures, the resurrected man reaches in from the right, ready to intercede to save himself if necessary. The white water lily inspired the white crown, and the blue water lily in part inspired the red crown. Together, they form the double crown, which also unites both water lilies. The Wetjet's 4 positions are Seth Anubis, Horus's right eye, the sun, Horus's left eye, the moon, and the double crown, or Seth inverted. To ancient Egyptians, these were not simply images, but rather important tools for understanding the world around them. Ancient Egyptian symbolism tends to be straightforward. Symbols resemble what they represent. This has been an abbreviated version of our book, but hopefully it has shown how simple, logical, and beautifully integrated their symbolism was, and how easily understood it is once it's been recognized. The book contains much more information about these fascinating ancient symbols.